Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining this webinar today. If you've joined this webinar, it's probably because you're part of our focus group around team structure, or you've given us feedback on this over the last few months, so thank you so much. Today's webinar is going to cover how to set up your company structure on CharlieHR. I guess the main question around this is, why did we even make these changes in the first place? So previously, as you probably remembered, in Charlie, you were able to set up one team for each team member with one team lead. People could only be in one team, which obviously we realized this wasn't really a realistic setup for many companies. So some of the changes that we've made, hopefully this has enabled you to reflect your company structure in Charlie a little bit easier. And we'll be covering some of that today. So I'm Lydia, I'm Customer Success Manager here at Charlie. I've probably spoken with all of you before, so hi. Today we'll be covering how to set up line managers, how to add people to teams and set team leads. And then we'll be going through some examples of how to actually set up your company structure on Charlie. If you do have any Q&A throughout the webinar, like submit your questions. Hopefully we can go through the answers at the end. If I don't manage to get through all of them, then we can get back to you afterwards. So let's start with line managers. So this is one of the changes that we've made. This is a new role within Charlie. I guess the main question here is why even set up line managers in the first place? The answer to this is a line manager really reflects the relationship that a manager has with an individual. So rather than, leading a team, it's the relationship that you have with that employee. So the really important thing is that you set these up first in Charlie. So set the line managers. This should be the real life manager, the person who's responsible for probably like their professional development, their reviews, probably were involved in hiring them in the first place as well. They're able to see and update the details of the people that they line manage. They can also approve their holiday requests and they'll receive notifications about them. And it's worth mentioning as well that people can line manage multiple people, but each person can only have one line manager in Charlie. So this really reflects the relationship that they have with that one person that they report to. So what we're going to do is have a little look at how you actually set this up. So I'm just going to go into Charlie now. There's two places that you can do this. So firstly, on the people page, you're able to select individuals and set their line manager. So you would just do this by selecting the individual, changing the line manager here, and selecting who will be line managing them. You can also do this by going onto an individual's profile and then actually selecting their line manager on this new employment tab. So again, just select their line manager from the drop down. And what that means is that's now going to be reflected on their profile and as well on the people page. So you're able to really clearly see who reports to who. So I hope that makes sense. I'm going to move on now to creating teams and team leads. I guess the most important thing is to differentiate between a line manager and a team lead at this stage. So with a line manager, as we mentioned, that's a way of showing who has a direct relationship with an employee. Team leads, they're responsible for the success of those within their team. So once you've set up your line managers and those have already been assigned, what you're going to want to do is create your teams in Charlie. People can now actually belong to more than one team. So if you've got departments with teams within that, you can really easily set that up. Once you've set up your teams, what you're going to want to do is create a team lead for each team. So as I kind of mentioned earlier, team leads are responsible for managing a team rather than an individual. So this is the key difference. They'll need to see the information for everyone within that team rather than just someone they individually manage. And similarly, team leads can see and update the details of everyone in the team, they can approve their holiday requests, and they can also receive notifications about them. So what we're going to do now is just go back into Charlie and have a look at creating teams and setting team leads. So on the people page, there's a tab for teams. So we've got some teams here, and some of them do have team leads, some of them don't. So Dumbledore's Army, we might want to add a lead here. So again, you would just select add lead, and then from the drop down, you'll select who in this team is leading the team. So we've set Hedwig as the team lead. So that means that they're going to receive the notifications and requests for everyone within that team, and they're going to be able to see the information of everyone within that team. If you still need to create teams, you can just do this by adding a team, and then you'll be able to set your team leads. So now I'm just going to take you through some examples on how to structure your company on Charlie. So there's a few different ways that you can do this depending on how your company is structured. So you might have more of like a traditional sort of department structure. So as I mentioned at the beginning, the first thing you're going to want to do is create line managers. So you can see here that you've got one person who's line managing an employee, and then you've got 2 employees here who are line managing another 2 employees. These 2 employees don't line manage anybody. And then this employee line manages 1 person. So what you're going to want to do in Charlie is create those line manager relationships firstly. Once you've done that, you're then going to want to add everybody into one big team. And we're going to call that finance team. So everyone has been added into that one team. If you kind of split it out a little bit more, so let's say within that finance team, you've got a payroll team and an accounts team. What you want to do is then create 2 additional teams on that team page, one called payroll, one called accounts. And then you can add some of those people from the finance team into those additional teams. So one of the changes that we've made is that people can be in multiple teams. So this is a way of showing that people belong to more than one team. But the key thing here is that you set those line managers first and then create your teams. You might work in more of a cross-functional or kind of client project setup. So here, again, what you'll want to do is create your line managers first. So you've got one person who's line managing another employee, same, and then one person line manages 2 employees. So you'll set that up first. Then what you're going to want to do is create a team called mobile app team, for example. And then we'd add 4 employees into that team. And then what you've done is actually set this person as a team lead. So this team lead can see the information of everyone just within that team. So anyone else who's line managing anyone in that team, they won't be able to see their information. So team leads can see the information of everyone within their team. So this is just basically a way of showing direct relationships between people, but also specifying who belongs within a team. You might have more of like a simple sort of small team structure. So in this case, what you would do is create line managers again for each employee. So you can see here that one person is line managing 4 employees, then one of those employees actually line manages another 2 people, and then one of those line managers an additional person. So you're going to set that up. Again, through the people page or on their profile, you can specify who is line managing who. And then what you're going to want to do is create a team, just one big team. For example, call it something like sales team. And then you're going to just want to add everyone within that team. So this is quite a simple setup. And yeah, there's no kind of additional teams here. So I hope that kind of gives you an idea as to what changes have been made and how you can kind of reflect your company structure in Charlie. I'm just going to see if we have any questions. Bear with me. Cool. So one of the questions that we had was from Emma. She asked, what details can line managers see? So they're able to see and update the details of the people that they line manage. So they can approve their holiday requests and receive notifications about them. So they'll be able to see basically all of the information for everyone that they line manage. So I hope that answers that question. We've had some other questions come in. So can I still set up my own time off approvers in Charlie? So yes, the answer to this is yes, you can. You can still set custom time off approvers. I'll just show you how you can do this on an individual's profile. So if you go into Charlie and go onto somebody's profile, so this is the same as before. You'll be able to go onto time off and scroll down to time off approvers. So let's say, you've actually got one person in the business that approves everybody's holiday, and it's not, related to line managers or team leads. What you can do is add a custom approver here, the same as you could before. So yes, you're able to still customize that. Another question is, who receives the notifications? Is that team leads or managers? So if you've set up team leads and line managers, then both of them will receive the notifications. One of the questions we've had as well is there a way to clear the current structure to implement the new way that it works? So line managers are obviously a new concept, so there shouldn't be anyone in the system who is line managing anybody, so you can set that up firstly. And then all you would need to do is basically go through your teams and set team leads. So there shouldn't be much in the way of clearing what you already have, because there isn't really much structure already in there. Cool, so I think that's kind of everything for today. If you do have any other questions, let me know. I'm going to send you a recording of this as well. Hopefully that was straightforward and easy to follow. If you have any feedback, we'd love to hear it. And thank you so much for being part of this project for the last few months. Without your feedback, we wouldn't have really been able to make these changes. So thank you so much. And yeah, again,